so much to me. Poets are good, but without a listenership, it's like someone screaming in the wilderness, right? So I want to thank you guys for being here. I'm going to be giving away some books periodically. I'll ask a little question maybe about a certain poet, and if anyone knows the answer, guess what, the book's yours, and I'll be more than happy to personalize it for you. I want to start off with a quote from one of the poet laureates from Mexico, Octavio Paz. He said, a society without poetry is a society without dreams, without passion, without laughter, but more importantly, it's a society without that connection between one person and another. And that's why poetry is so important here. And so I'm going to start with a poem that is in the vein of shoes. So it's interesting because I wrote this poem when I was in Veracruz, the state of Veracruz, which is eastern part of Mexico. And every store I went to, it seemed like there was shoe stores after shoe store after shoe store. So I got to thinking, it's quite a phenomenon. So I got to writing about it. It's called Ubiquitous Shoe Stores. The state of Veracruz has a fascination with shoes. I do not understand it. Every other store that I pass, shoe stores, and more shoe stores. The majority of the shoes are high-heeled women's shoes. What's more astonishing is that those same shoes have a 2 to 3 inch platform as well. What necessitates this need amongst women to grow artificially? I do not know. The only thing I know is that there are an overwhelming amount of shoe stores in Veracruz. I still don't know, so if anyone knows, let me know, please. Yes. And I think you would all agree with this next poem. I'll read it in the English and the Spanish. That one of the greatest virtues is patience. And God knows I always try to cultivate as much as I can. Because we're all cracked vessels, right? Trying to become better every day. So it's called A Revolutionary Patience. And I read this in New York at the Bowery, and I want to read it for you guys. I've read it before. I want a type of patience that is revolutionary. A type of patience that does not mind waiting more than one lifetime. It should be similar to Mother Earth, who talks not, but speaks volumes. Therefore, I shall wait with patience. I'm going to read it in the Spanish. Una paciencia revolucionaria. Quiero una paciencia que sea revolucionaria. Una paciencia que no le moleste esperar más de una vida. Tendrá que ser semejante a la madre naturaleza, quien habla nada, mas dice volúmenes. Entonces, esperaré con paciencia. The greatest virtues.
Did you write it in Spanish first?
I wrote it initially in the Spanish, and then I translated there. Before I go on to the next one, I want to give away one of these books here to someone who might be able to answer this question. This person carried a pen name throughout most of his literary writing career. And if anyone knows his birth name, I'll tell you by his birth name, and if anyone knows it, this book is yours. His birth name was Neftali Ricardo Reyes Bosalto. Does anyone know who we're talking about here? Neftali Ricardo Reyes Bosalto. His father told him, never become a poet. You will disgrace the family. Become a lawyer instead. He said, no, Pops, I gotta become a poet. I gotta follow my path. I got things to do literary. Anybody know who that is? Chilean poet. From Chile.
Well,
Who said
that's what I meant when she said it.
Who said Neruda? Pablo Neruda. Here you go, the great Chilean poet. He was named after a Czechoslovakian poet, Jean Neruda, and he picked Paul because biblical tendencies, so he makes Paul and Neruda. Pablo Neruda. This next book is called, or this next poem is called, "It Is As If." I was going to read it in Spanish there. It is as if. A lot of things are as if something. It is as if you existed and did not exist at the same time. The paradox of running while still. It is as if you flew to me at dawn, showed me the eternal garden, and disappeared as I stopped to take in the view. It is as if I live in two worlds, one dominated by commerce, and the other by your unwavering silhouette. It is as if my blood beats only to understand that life is one cycle of many, many to come. It is as if all my prior existence has been a building up to this precise and exact moment. It is as if all my sighs and griefs have been to affirm and flex my existential muscle. It is as if the multitude of the human species only seek to be accepted to the great dining hall, and so they pathologically struggle to get there, unconcerned for those who stay and dine at the poet's table, which is never allowed admittance for their audacity and parrhesia, French speech. Society has been like this for eternity. It is as if the centuries have remained completely the same. Some say there's been more violence, more adultery, more delinquency, more insincerity. I respond, there's just been more media, you see. It is as if the fears of my fellow man are over-exaggerated. It is well that they release them with me. Peace is a blank slate. It is as if. This next one's called The Nocturnal Morning. A lot of times we dream and we wake up and ask ourselves, what was that all about? So this was a nocturnal journey, and I take a little trip to the Caribbean. The nocturnal journey. I arrived in Havana this morning. I bought myself a strong coffee. One could overhear the conversations of the energetic university students. They spoke clandestinely that the ideology of the last 50 years sounds beautiful when one's stomach is full. When hunger is present, however, the ideology does not step in to bring some distance. I left the coffee house and sat down in a student study room at the university. Specifically, I sat down at the table where Martí and Guillén were sitting. They spoke with great passion and with powerful voices about the human condition in general and the Cuban condition in particular. Martí denounced the mother country for her arrogance and incompassion. He recited some verses that sounded to the rhythm of the forest and of the country folk. Guillén pontificated that his hybrid blood made war inside himself at every instant. He explained that the beating of the drum moved him to remember the journey of his ancestors on those ships of cruelty. When I was about to give my own speech, I awoke to a new day. It's all in a dream. It was only a dream, the song said. This next one's called prisons do kill some. I think we'd all agree that prison industrial complex is sizable, to put it mildly. Prisons do kill the forgotten slowly. The agony is evident in the eyes and face, even if the voice evades the presence of sound. Prisons do kill the emotive, like being Romeo and knowing that Juliet has just married another. And on seeing the silhouette of these two newlyweds behind the silk curtains as they are about to consummate their marriage, it is too much. Prisons do kill the person who loves without equal the smell of Mother Earth and the sounds of the forest with its plethora of savage animals. Without the forest, little by little, the prisoner prefers the injection of ether. This next one's called Asking for a Handout. A lot of times we see folk, right, that are asking for a handout and we don't know kind of where they might have gone wrong or whatnot. And maybe we might be there one day, so this gives a reflection on it. Asking for a handout. I'm asking for a handout outside a Mexican shopping center on a Thursday morning. With my hand outstretched toward compassion, memories come to me. I remember wanting to change the world, the desire to glorify and give mankind a good name. I remember walking with my angel, laughing as we fed the beautiful and glorious swans in the town square of Acapulco. I remember giving all my time to posterity and motivating them when I was invited to the university to give a talk and read from my works. I remember giving some of my better elocutions in my English, history, and Spanish classes. There, I gave all of me. I left nothing unsaid. I exercised, as the Greeks did, paideia, deep education. Today I ask for a handout outside a store. No one notices my existence. As if I were invisible, or the very air itself. This next one's called They Say. They Say. Never know if it's true, but people say. And this one, I got this from, to give you a little bit of background, some of you might know Jorge Ramos, is one of the premier reporters in the Spanish language for Univision. And he proclaimed that the first American president of Latino origin has already been born and is amongst us. So I got to thinking about that. The 21st century contains Mexicans that will attain great triumphs. They say that the first American president of Latino origin has already been born and is amongst us. Maybe. But what is more, they will occupy unending positions that will give their ancestors a smile, like Paz, Inés de la Cruz, Fuentes, and Nervo. If this is accomplished, it is hoped that they do not forget their history. We don't remember our history, we're bound to repeat it, right? George Santayana, I believe. This next one's called an ode to a beautiful city, a city that is just, I'm always in awe whenever I drive into it. And of course, we're talking about Arroyo Grande. Ode to Arroyo Grande, okay? So I better hear a little clap from you guys on this one here. Arroyo Grande, California. Arroyo Grande, Big Creek, geographical location 35 degrees north latitude, 120 degrees west longitude. The absolute location of America's heartbeat. I flow and ebb within your essence. I ascend to the hilltop of this village. A school sits at the top, a very patriotic school. From there, the future generation expounds the knowledge they are deciphering and unraveling. They are the ocean that unites the days of old and the days not yet come. American flags along the village street silently proclaim an unshakable and profound belief in this American experiment. Emerson would have loved to have heard this creek's water running and enchanting the citizenry. The village green and Doc Bernstein's etherize all unnecessary worries. Cross over that green bridge now and then. Your soul shall shine brighter. Ode to the Arroyo Grande. This next poem is an interesting one, and it's the signature poem. Candela in Spanish means fire. All right, light or fire. And I wrote this. This is the longest piece here. And you can look at it from two perspectives, either global warming or from an apocalyptic viewpoint. So whichever you're bent on it, you can look at it either way. To give you a preface there, I go in the morning at 4 in the morning to the Pacific Ocean, and as I look out the oceans, the waves just start getting bigger and bigger, turning red. And I'm reciting this poem, and as I'm about to end, right as I end, the waves come and end it all. I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock. An imperative intuition took me to the shores of the Pacific Ocean. The night was bidding farewell, and the dawn was making its presence as the orange rays embraced the margins of the ocean. At exactly 4:45, I saw the panorama of a ubiquitous liquid begin to shake. The ocean's waves began to manifest themselves. I closed my eyes. On opening them, I saw waves 100 times the size of the most powerful tsunami coming toward me. The waters were getting angrier and turning a yellowish red as they closed their distance. The sun emerged with an unequal radiance such that I closed my eyes anew. Yet I could still see a film of orange from behind my eyelids. I began intonating the sound of and I felt crawfish run quickly atop my chest. One of them climbed all the way up to my ear and blew into it such that it eliminated all my sense of hearing. I looked toward him, and his lips recited, "You, aggressor of our universe, who has given man the arrogance of thinking that they are the masters of everything. Count all the living creatures of this world, and you will see that what lies beneath the seas and oceans makes man seem like a footnote." The crawfish crawled down my body just as they had arrived. I became aware of their fear as I saw emerge from the ocean 7 gigantic walruses. They began encircling me such that I was the nucleus. As they circled around me, they rised up and down on the surface of the shore. Their eyes were painted of a golden hue, and their bodies shook the plates of the earth. The biggest of the group of walruses closed in on me and dictated with a heavy and powerful voice. "Now we switch roles. Now it is we who look upon a most insignificant thing. Now it is we who wear the coat of arrogance." I wanted to defend my species, but the beasts raised their bodies in unison and let them fall with an unexplainable force upon the earth. I saw the waters of the ocean rise up like a blanket being lifted. I saw great profundity beneath the ocean. Just as they had arrived, they also evaporated. The enormous waves were now at an apocalyptic point. The waves seemed to reach the heights of heaven. The smaller waves turned into snakes. One ventured with much haste out of the ocean and wrapped itself around my being. It dictated with passion. I have followed man and seen the utter failures and wretchedness. Man has for centuries on end tripped over himself since leaving the garden. What a comedy you have all lived. I applaud the apathy of how man has treated each other. The serpent pined to continue speaking, but the enormous waves arrived. So, interesting piece there. This next one, llegando a la tierra de los jarochos. Jarochos is a term used to name people from Veracruz. So a lot of times say, oh, soy jarocho. Okay, they're from Veracruz. And I wrote this on on my sojourn when I was there. And it basically tells how I will be, as I was arriving to Veracruz, I remembered the Spanish who came and colonized it, and I make allusions to Spain, the commercial centers of Sevilla and Madrid, and the Guadalquivir, which is a very famous river along Spain, and I connect it with the Gulfs, oceans, and so forth. Llegando a la tierra de los jarochos, miraré a Cortés y a su barco del ayer en el hablar con los veracruzanos, y al visitar la muchedumbre de catedrales. En las acciones del comercio entenderé un poco mejor a Madrid y a Sevilla. Al bañarme en el Golfo, conoceré las corrientes del Guadalquivir. Al mirar los pesares de los desdichados, entenderé a Bernal Díaz un poco mejor. Al ver la jerarquía social, se afirmarán las proclividades patológicas de la mente española. How many of you didn't get a lick of that there? I'm sorry if you didn't.
It sounded good.
I gave you. I didn't think you appreciated that. Jarocho is just, the jaros before used to be like arrows. So, they work in pottery and so forth. It also has a different connotation where jarocho could also mean someone who's rude. So sometimes, a person's jarocho, so it has a multiple meanings.
So from being Veracruz is not as...
It has this mixture. You gotta recognize it is a commercial port, so there's business and it's realpolitik, right, when you're doing business.
Real.
This one's called Waves and Their History. I only got this one and one more than I got just a couple songs. Waves and Their History. And through waves, right, the waves carry and tell stories in themselves without speaking. And so I make allusions of places that I have been to and give a little kind of reference, sometimes an allusion to a historical reality. The waves of Acapulco sound to the rhythm of my heart. They sing songs of Agustin Lara when he used to walk with his beautiful Maria in Caleta. The waves of Puerto Rico dance their virtues, knowing they were and are lamented by the Spanish. They rejoice the fact that the Puerto Rican is made up of hybrid bloods. The waves of Ensenada sing the laments of the fishermen that have succumbed to its majesty. We're powerful, but sometimes these things happen. Sing the waves of the sea with a Gregorian chant. The waves of Florida bring songs that sound with rhyme and the drum beat since they move to the Cuban rhythm. The coasts rejoice, the same ones that fascinated Ponce de Leon. Waves of their history. And this one is called And All Will Be the Same. I think I've read this one before. The more things change, sometimes the more they remain the same. So things have changed, right? No, they're still the same. A couple of things will change. And all will be as it has been all along. The naysayers will continue in their unisyllabic ways. The passerby folk will cover their fair share of this landscape, scrape knees and all. The kind souls will continue to be kind, whether they be a believer or not. And all will be as it has been all along. The leeches will continue to siphon off from the poor, even at their soul's expense. Poets will continue to be born and think no one has experienced their anguish. More poor and ignorant angels will live so as to teach the intellectuals of the world. And all will be as it has been all along. So, the last piece there. And if you guys don't mind, I have a couple of songs. Dave, do we still got?
You got it. Great.
I'm going to preface that with my voice is not the greatest, so I apologize. In Spanish, we say de antemano beforehand. So I played my little guitarrita, which I call it. It's not a full guitar, but it's always accompanied me. Whenever I've done anything, or whenever my poetry where it can become more philosophical, my songs become more, they have more of a love tone. So they usually come out that way, and I kind of like to leave them that way as they go. This one's called Where Bohemians Rome, and if any of you have Bohemian proclivities, then you might relate to this. I saw her there in an old cafe along an old abandoned road where Bohemians roam. I saw her there in an old cafe along an old abandoned road where Bohemians roam. She was sitting alone with her cup of joe. I could tell from her face she was at a crossroad. At the jukebox I put in a coin. I knew You Were Waiting was the song that told. She glanced at me and let out a smile. My eyes met her eyes. I let the song tell her more. I saw her there in an old cafe along an old abandoned road where Bohemians roam. With my pride on the floor and my heart on my sleeve, I walked towards her on that destiny lead. With my pride on the floor and my heart on my sleeve, I walked towards her on that destiny lead. We talked through the night, we pulled down stars, we laughed at the world, it was a wonderful sight. You might ask how the story ends. What can I say? We were Bohemians. I saw her there in an old cafe along an old abandoned road where Bohemians roam. Where Bohemians roam, where Bohemians roam, where Bohemians roam, where Bohemians roam. This next one's called It's Been Some Years. It's been some years since I saw your eyes. You were my only love. It's been some years since I saw your eyes. You were my only love. I can't forget that night in June when God united us. We opened the doors of love. Our souls became as one. We raised a family. We laughed at the simple things. As the years they went by, we took carries again Caribbean sensibilities. It's about a person I meet, and as I'm getting to the destination, this person encircles me, and as the person is encircling me, we carry on this kind of love dialogue that, I thought I had a particular goal, but she kind of changed the goal at the end. So. It tends to happen there with love. Caminando una santera vi, ella contó mi porvenir. Ella era de Guanajuato, su sangre era de Angola. Ella moraba en La Habana para ver quién más cantaba. Caminando una santera vi, ella contó mi porvenir. Ella era de Guanajuato, a su sangre era de Angola. Caminaba y me rodeaba, sus labios me hablaban. Caminaba y me rodeaban, sus ojos me devoraban. Usted viene de la montaña donde los poetas cantan. Usted viene de la montaña donde los poetas cantan. Yo le pregunté cómo sabe quién soy yo. Yo le reclamé, dígame por favor. Yo he oído sus canciones, el aullar de sus pasiones. Yo he oído sus canciones, el sonar de sus tambores. La medianoche es condenada, se oye todo hasta La Habana. Caminando una santera vi, ella contó mi porvenir. Se acercó, empezó a bailar, el ritmo del amor empezó a tocar. Con sus ojos me hechizó, dulces versos me nació. Mis versos de cascabel empezaron a vibrar. Le dije cosa bonita, le dije cosa preciosa, que más linda rosa blanca, mis versos la iluminaron. Caminando una santera vi, ella contó mi porvenir. Ella era de Guanajuato, a su sangre era de Angola. Caminaba y me rodeaba, sus labios continuaban. Yo tengo sangre híbrida, usted también es igual. Mas yo cargo sangre negra y usted carga sangre india. Los ojos verdes míos son huellas, rasgos del peninsular. Mis caderas vienen de Angola, se mueven como las olas. Después yo le contesté, con ternura le expliqué. La barba que cargo yo me la dejó el español. La barba que cargo yo me la dejó el español. Mi sangre india de la tierra se paz con la sierra. Mi sangre india de la tierra se mezcla con las estrellas. Caminando una santera vi, ella contó mi porvenir.
no va a llegar, a su meta no va a llegar. En ese momento entendí mi porvenir. Usted es una gran santera, pero que hay